33 days, 33 episodes. Join me, Max Rushton, and our expert team of soccer journalists every day of the World Cup for analysis, drama, and everything in between. World Cup Daily, listen on Spotify now, or watch full episodes on YouTube.
Need a laptop that's built to perform and designed to last all day? Select Windows 11 PCs starting at $499.99 are now at Best Buy. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
What's up, cousins, and welcome back to another episode of Melanin Mysteries. If you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm so glad you found my little black true crime corner of the internet. I hope you decide to stay a while. Now, before we get started, let me give y'all a quick disclaimer so nobody over there is clutching their pearls halfway through this episode. I cuss a lot. I absolutely talk shit about these raggedy ass offenders. I will drag a dusty criminal from here to Timbuktu if the situation calls for it. But most importantly, around these parts, we have a good time while still honoring the victims and their stories. For those who don't know me, I'm Tiffany, aka Detective Lightskin, your favorite true crime cousin, storyteller, professional side-eyer of terrible life decisions, and founder of Melanin Mysteries, where we tell the stories mainstream media doesn't always tell and make sure our people are never forgotten. Now, if that's your vibe, congratulations, cousins. You have found your people. But if not, that's okay too. I appreciate you for stopping by. Now to my cousins, my family. Hey y'all, how was your week? I hope y'all are enjoying the summer because it's bipolar in Cleveland. It is. It's either hot or it's cold. There's just no in between. Like, I would just like to get a happy medium. Actually, I'm okay with the heat, but I don't like this 60-degree weather. I just don't understand. But regardless, anyway, I just wanted to say I appreciate y'all for coming back for another week to kick it with me. Y'all already know what time it is. We have got another ashy, dusty offender. We about to drag through the depths of hell, and we are going to give honor to another young lady whose life was cut entirely too short. Another family was changed forever, and we have another woman who deserves so much better. But before we get into today's case, y'all know we got to knock out these announcements real quick. July 1st marks 2 whole years of my baby, like my brainchild. I dreamt this up in my sleep. Can y'all believe it? Let's start it as my little idea has grown into such an amazing community of cousins, and I am so grateful for y'all, every single one of y'all. And because we are celebrating all month long, I have so much in store for you. And I'm going to be making some changes to the podcast. You know, growth comes with change. And I like change. So first and foremost, the Cousin Confessions, I will be retiring it soon. Love, Lies, and Alibis is slowly making its way back. If you didn't check out the Love, Lies, and Alibis panel, part 1, which is the ladies' point of view for my subscribers, go ahead and check that out. And don't feel bad if you left out. I mean, you really can't hate from outside the club because you can't even get in. But see, I don't gatekeep. You can get in. All you got to do, you can go over to either Apple or you can go over to Spotify and you can sign up for just $4.99 a month. And then you get to come kick it on the subscriber side. You get so many perks over there. Like I said, Love, Lies, and Alibis will live there permanently. You get your episodes all ad-free. You get them a day early for the main episode, and you get it almost a whole week early for One Bad Night. And when I drop this new segment, that is going to be specifically for my subscribers. And I'm always working on something behind the scenes. Y'all know I got like 90 million things going on. So there's going to be more loaded up. I'm adjusting my schedule. I'm working on some things. So the subscribers are going to get even more than what they have now. Now, the entire month of July will be packed with giveaways. I have guests, I have contests, I have surprises, and I have so much more. So make sure you're following me on social media. I'm Melanin Mysteries Podcast across all platforms, and keep an eye on your emails if you signed up on the website that I always forget to check. But if you send me a message over there, I do get that because I do check my email. Now you can also, and the website is melaninmysteries.com. And don't forget to join the private Facebook discussion group, Love, Lies, and Alibis, where we keep the conversation going after the episodes end, because some of the contests and prizes will be strictly over there. Because like I said, VIP got his perks, but we don't gatekeep. Just come on over and come on in. Now, if you are trying to figure out what to get for my baby's birthday, let me help you out. The absolute best gift you can give me is to share the podcast. You can share with a friend, a coworker, your homegirl, your cousin, a random person you meet at the bar. I don't discriminate. Hell, you give it to the lady standing next to you in the Dollar General tree line. Word of mouth helps this show grow more than y'all know. And while you're at it, you can also leave your girl a 5-star review. Now, if you're not a fan or you have a critique, I would greatly appreciate if you didn't take it out on my reviews and instead slid into my inbox. I just told you where you could find me. Constructive criticism is always welcome, and I'm heavy on the constructive because some of y'all be confusing constructive criticism with being rude, and they're not the same thing. But all right, because I think that's all I got. So let's go ahead and get into this case. So this week we are heading down to Columbia, South Carolina, and we are in August. So it's going to be hot. It's summertime. And we had a milk dud head ass nigga who couldn't get his life together. Somebody handed him the instructions, a map, a flashlight, and a GPS. A knock-knee, dusty, hobosexual, y'all know I can't stand those, who took advantage of a woman whose heart was simply too damn big. All this lady did was open her home and her life and tried to help somebody she cared about get back on their feet. And instead of appreciating that, this sorry excuse for a man repaid her with betrayal, manipulation, and ultimately violence. Now, see, cousins, every now and then we cover a case where the victim's biggest mistake wasn't being reckless or wasn't trusting strangers. It wasn't making a dangerous decision. Their biggest mistake was just trying to help the wrong damn person. And unfortunately, that's what happened here. So I need you to grab your wine. I got mine. Well, it's a margarita in a wine glass, but I got it. Grab your snacks. And if you're driving, I need you to keep your eyes on the road because this fool is about to raise your blood pressure. Now, cousins, let me tell y'all what had happened. The truth is, I didn't die because I loved the wrong man. I died because I stopped finally believing his lies. Once I realized he was a walking red flag wrapped in military fatigues and broken promises, I wanted that nigga gone. But he wasn't ready to lose a woman carrying his entire life on her back. Ain't that about a bitch? The last day that anybody heard from Almanita Smith was August 16th, 2012. Now, cousins, right here is where I need y'all to lock in because this case is about to piss us all the way off. Because after August 16th, nobody couldn't get a hold of Almanita. Not her mama, her daddy, nobody. But her daddy, Mr. Harold Davis, baby, he wasn't one of them dads that was about to be sitting around talking about like, well, maybe she's busy. He was on her coattails. He knew his daughter, and he knew this was not normal. Now, Mr. Harold, he lived down in Tuskegee, Alabama, while Almanita was in Columbia, South Carolina. So after a few days of getting nothing, he calls Columbia's police and was like, look, I can't get to my daughter right this second, but can y'all please go check on her because something not sitting right with me? They're like, okay, cool, no problem. So the police send the officer out to the house. Officer gets there and knocks. Door opens. And who's standing there? This man, his name is Marcus. That Marcus, the one we about to spend the next hour cussing out. So the officer tells to him that, she's there because Almanita's father is worried and wants somebody to make sure he's okay. And Marcus is like, oh, yeah, she's fine. Cool. Well, where's she at? He's like, oh, well, she ain't here. Oh, okay, so where's she at? So according to Mr. Marcus, Almanita got a call from somebody he assumed was a friend. She got into a dark-colored Toyota and left. Now, did he know who called? Did he know who was driving? No, he didn't know that either. Did he possibly know where she went? No, nope. Did he know when she was coming back? Also, no. Y'all know I be annoyed quick because how do you know absolutely nothing, but somehow you just not concerned, especially when somebody's saying that they haven't heard from their daughter in days? Make it make sense. But so Marcus isn't done with his, he decides he's going to put on a little demonstration. So he calls Almanita on speaker, but she doesn't answer. So in front of the officer, he tries to text her. No response. And then, you know what? He had the audacity to tell the officer, that girl ain't even missing. I see her every day. Oh, okay, if she's not missing, then where the hell is she at? Because at this point, nobody can find her. Nobody can reach her. They said that this lady didn't show up to a class, and that lady did not show up for her stuff. Okay, so where's she at then? So the officer was like, okay, well, if nobody can reach her, and apparently you can't reach her either, but you're not concerned. Okay. So the officer's like, well, let me look around real quick. Just want to make sure we don't find nothing suspicious. You know, we need to do something deeper. Okay, cool. He like, fine, no worries. Go ahead. Officer looks around, doesn't immediately see anything suspicious, and was like, all right, we'll tell Almanita to call her daddy, and officer leaves.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man, an 8-episode series, now streaming on Disney+.
A superhero remake, not exactly what we'd expect from an Oscar-winning director.
Action! Simon Williams, audition for Wonder Man.
I'm gonna need you to sign this, assuming you don't have superpowers.
I'll never work again if anyone found out.
My lips are sealed.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man. All 8 episodes now streaming, only on Disney+.
This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
Y'all know what happened next? Nothing. Mr. Harold didn't get a phone call. He didn't get a text. He didn't get a smoke signal from Almanita. And by August 22nd, Harold had had enough. Where is my child? Because at this point, he's ready to hop in the car and burn up that highway himself. Because the police aren't getting him answers, he gonna get him his own self. So he was actually planning to leave that evening, but he was like, you know, wait, it's getting late. I'll just head out first thing in the morning. He called Marcus. He was like, little Marcus, I'm gonna be up there tomorrow. Almanita's mama had said the same thing because Almanita's mama had a key to her house. She said she'd be up there the next morning with Mr. Harold. Right? So, okay, cool. Mr. Harold, he getting ready to make that drive. And the next morning starts like any other morning. It's actually the first day of school for the kids. You know, parents rushing, kids moving around, everybody tired, aggravated. You just trying to get back in the flow of school starting. And a neighbor comes out of her house, gets in her car. Maybe she had her coffee with her, trying to process these. She's about to get rid of these kids for a few hours and she can get back to normal. And she looks over and there's a body in the yard. Like, she's like, okay, but she's probably like, first of all, I'm probably not even caffeinated enough for this. I'm just trying to get these kids off to school. So now she like, maybe somebody just drunk in the driveway. But then she like really looking. No, that is a dead body. I'd really be trying to look around, trying to figure out if I was hallucinating. But unfortunately, she wasn't. She screams. 911 gets called. Neighbors start gathering. And while all this is going down, here come a man running out of a nearby house like somebody done lit a fire under his ass. And when he gets close to the body, he pulls back this blanket, turns the body over, and immediately, child, he is crying and screaming. He is hooping and hollering and carrying on. Y'all know who this man is. Y'all already know. I ain't got to tell y'all. It's Marcus. Mr. She Ain't Missing. Mr. Everything Fine. Mr. I See Her Every Day. That Marcus. Now, initially, investigators, when they get there, they thought they were actually looking for another missing young woman. Her name was Gabrielle Swinson. Side note, quick pause. If y'all want to hear Gabrielle's story, Black True Crime Podcast just covered it because they beat me to it. I was definitely planning on giving y'all a bonus episode because the stories were kind of, they thought they were connected, but shout out to them for covering Gabrielle's story. So Marcus quickly tells the investigators that this wasn't Gabrielle. The woman that was lying in his yard was his girlfriend. The same girlfriend he said wasn't missing. The same girlfriend that nobody had heard from in days. The same girlfriend whose father was literally preparing to drive across state lines looking for her. It was Almanita Smith. And before we get into what happened next, let me tell y'all about who Almanita was. And before we get into the foolery, the lies, and the absolute bum behavior that is Marcus Bailey, we're going to talk about Almanita. because the more I learned about her, the madder I got. So her name was Almanita Smith. She was born May 25th, 1986 in Tuskegee, Alabama. And y'all already know, shout out to my fellow 86 babies because it is our year. But it kind of made me sad because she should have been right here celebrating with us, turning 40. But instead, here we are. Now, Amanita, she was born to Harold Davis and Thelma Smith, and I couldn't tell from my research whether her parents had ever been married or not, but by the time this case happened, they wasn't together. She also had a sister named Samantha and a brother named Shaman. I'm gonna go with Shaman. And cousins, let me tell y'all something. Sis was out here collecting accomplishments. She's another accomplished lady, like our poor woman who got unalived at Juve in one bad night. I don't like it. Like every time I found something else about her, I was sitting here like, damn, what couldn't she do? Because everybody who knew Almanita described her the same way. She was smart. She was compassionate. She was a natural born leader. And she wasn't one of those people who suddenly became amazing as an adult. She had been that girl. Growing up, she played basketball. She ran track. She played tennis. And to top it all off, sis was homecoming queen. Like, girl, leave some achievements for the rest of us. I ain't mad at you, though. And we got to talk. The girl was gorgeous, beautiful, pretty, athletic, smart, popular, driven. I mean, favor ain't fair. It just ain't. So after high school, Almanita, she enlisted in the United States Army, and she worked her way up to the rank of staff sergeant. And not only that, she completed 2 tours of duty in Iraq. 2. Meanwhile, y'all know I be needing a nap after going to Walmart and the post office in the same day. And after active duty, Almanita decided she was going to join the Army Reserves and kept pushing forward because apparently she ain't do nothing halfway. At the time of her death, she had just earned her 2nd degree in education. And if that was not enough, she was also a homeowner by the age of 24. Do y'all hear me? Meanwhile, most of us at 24 were trying to figure out how not to overdraft our checking accounts. Now, everything about Almanita's life pointed in one direction, up. She was educated, accomplished, respected. She had served her country. She owned her home. She was building a future that looked incredibly bright. This was the kind of woman who people look at and say, she's going somewhere. And that's exactly why this case makes me so angry, because a hairy-nosed, knock-knee, turtle-faced asshole comes into the picture. Now, Almanita, she was well on her way to becoming truly something special. And this next part had me sitting there looking at my notes like somebody was playing in my face, because how about these people didn't even know each other that long? So we're in August of 2012, and reports say that they met in the spring of 2012. So it had only been a few months. And somehow in them few months, this man managed to come into this woman's life and completely wreck it. How they met at a nightclub. And I am going to hold y'all. Marcus was not a bad looking dude. He wasn't even ugly. I mean, I'd even go as far to say he was cute. But after everything I learned, baby, that man looked like a spoiled potato salad left in the sun. I can't even say he was cute no more. The ugly doesn't see through the pores. Now, we really don't know much about Marcus. I know he was from California. He was born August 19th, 1985. And he was also in the Army. And somehow within the few little months, this nigga moved into Almanita's house. That's where I would have needed a timeout, because why are you moving in already? Matter of fact, why are you homeless and you're in the military? Why are you at my house? Take your ass to the barracks. Take your ass literally anywhere else. Why are your drawers in my dresser? Your shoes are by my front door. Why are you eating my Fruit Loops? Ugh. Ew. Now, allegedly, Marcus had fallen on, quote, hard times. And because Almanita had a heart bigger than her own damn body, she let him move in. And this is why everybody can't come with you. That is such a lesson that I have seen over the years. When you onward and upward, baby, everybody can't go with you. Because some people see kindness and immediately start calculating how much they can get out of you. But don't worry, we're going to circle back around to Mr. Hard Times in a minute, because if you don't like him now, baby, we ain't even got to the infuriating part yet. Now let's get back to this crime scene. So detectives said that once they got Marcus up off the floor, because y'all remember he was down there having a whole entire production, just crying and shaking and hyperventilating, carrying on. They said the man was having a panic attack. He got himself a free ambulance ride to the hospital. And once they got this sloth-eyed ass out the way, they could finally focus on our actual victim, Almanita. But y'all, they said the condition of her body was horrible. They said her limbs had excessive fluid buildup. Her tongue was swollen. And they said it was immediately obvious she had been deceased for several days. How? How? Hold the hell up, because remember, this man was just telling the police that he just saw her. Wasn't it the same man to say she wasn't missing? Wasn't this the same man acting like everybody was overreacting? So how exactly has she been dead for days? And see, this is why I don't be lying, because it's too much to remember. I forget things quick. I'm like Dory sometimes. Now, Marcus, he did give a statement to a paramedic, of all people. And the paramedic's name happened to be Ethan King. And according to Marcus, he said that Almanita had been out with some friends the night before. Okay. Then he says, well, I never really laid eyes on her. But then he was like, but I heard her come in the house and she was moving around. Sir, what in the Scooby-Doo bullshit are we talking about? You didn't see her, but you heard her. Okay, sure. And now back at the house, CSI and detectives, they had to go inside the house. And baby, they said funky wasn't even the word. Funky is forgetting to take out the trash. Funky is teenage football cleats. Funky is somebody leaving fish in the break room microwave. This was something completely different. They describe the odor as disgusting, absolutely foul, the smell that kind of punches you directly in the throat. And while they're trying not to pass out, they start noticing something else. There's candles, plug-ins, sprays, incense, air fresheners are everywhere. And I mean everywhere. This man had enough scent products in that house to open a Bath & Body Works franchise. Sir, why? Why is every smell known to mankind fighting for his life in the house? And you know them smells didn't even match. So it was just probably, and it probably, you know, when you have too many smell good, it don't all mesh. Ew. Because nobody is burning incense, spraying Febreze, lighting candles, and plugging in air fresheners for fun. Now, personally, me, I've never smelled a decomposing body, thank God. And I pray I never do. But everybody always says the same thing. Once you smell it, you'll never forget it, ever. An investigator said that's exactly what the house smelled like. Now, at that point, the little alarm bells would have turned into church bells for me, because now y'all got a woman dead outside, a boyfriend whose stories don't match, a house that smells like decomposition, and enough air fresheners to fumigate a small city. Baby, something stank. And I ain't talking about just the house. So they call in cadaver dogs. And the fact they were calling in cadaver dogs should tell you everything. Because by now, investigators already knew they were standing knee-deep in some bullshit. And while all this is happening, their number one suspect is riding to the hospital in the back of an ambulance. So by this point, detectives already knew some bullshit was going on, because they have a dead woman, the boyfriend's story ain't making sense, the house smelled like somebody tried to fight decomposition with Bath & Body Works, and their number one suspect is currently on his way to the hospital in the back of an ambulance. Now, eventually, her family was notified, and you know that broke their hearts. Can you imagine? 1 minute you're worried because nobody can get a hold of your daughter, your sister, your cousin, and the next minute you're being told that she's gone. Absolutely devastating. But one thing Almanita's family wasn't short on, oh baby, they weren't short on information. Because when I tell y'all they had a whole lot to say about Marcus, and I told you we were going to circle back around to him. So it's a great time. Let's circle. Now, I told y'all Marcus was in the Army, and at one point he was a drill sergeant. And technically that part was true at one point. But what his raggedy ass conveniently left out was that he had been discharged, forced out due to erratic behavior. Now, he had also completed 2 tours in Iraq, but he had been demoted in rank because of fraternization. And for my civilian cousins, that means he was sleeping with lower ranking soldiers, the privates, which is prohibited. Sir, you had one job. And every bit of this happened before he even met Almanita, which suddenly made this whole hard time story start sounding a little different, because now it wasn't giving bad luck. It was giving consequence. But now let me tell you how this next part took me clean out. Because according to Almanita, who told her mama, Marcus was still getting up every single morning and putting on his uniform, getting dressed, leaving the house, and acting like he was going to work. Sir, you don't even work there. Like, dude, this man was waking up and cosplaying employment. What were you doing all day? Role-playing a paycheck? Participating in an imaginary direct deposit? Clocking into a job that existed only in his damn mind? Oh, and baby, when Miss Almanita found out, of course she was pissed. Don't be sitting here playing in my face. And what was you doing all day? You wasn't at the library looking for jobs because they said he couldn't get a job. So what was you doing all day? Probably laid up with a bitch. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Or specifically one, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, you mean to tell me this man literally lied about exactly who he was? And I'm opening my home to you. I'm feeding you, letting you live here. Mind you, he was living there rent free. He wasn't giving her $1. And you're over here performing Army the Musical every morning. Absolutely the fuck not. And you know what? You would think it can't get any worse, but it does. Because allegedly, this raccoon-faced toilet water eating amoeba was married with a kid. That's not even the worst part, because he had another one on the way. Because let me back up for just a second. Because where the fuck your wife at? Why are you here? Why are you not at home with your pregnant wife? Well, she probably put your bum ass out, and she ain't want you either. Pregnant at all, she probably didn't want you. But matter of fact, we ain't even gonna talk about that. We still push back. But go find her. Go find your wife, because I don't understand why you were at Almanita's house in her refrigerator breathing her good air. Go home, Roger. Go home. And to top it all off, family and friends couldn't stand this nigga either. Now, usually when one person don't like somebody, I take it with a grain of salt. But when everybody don't like you, baby, you might just be the problem. And they said Marcus drank all the time. Where you get the money from, Marcus? Where you get the money from? You ain't had no job. Where did you get the money from? And after hearing everything else, that was probably the least surprising thing that I've learned all day about Marcus. By this point, Marcus was just shaping up to be a lying, unemployed, married, hard times having, guest bedroom living professional headache. And we're still not the worst part. Because I can't really even be mad at Almanita, because from everything I found, the girl did try and put his ass out. She really did. But according to Marcus, he ain't had nowhere to go. Your wife wasn't an option. Your wife, she wasn't an option. I mean, you ain't got no job or nothing. You ain't got no parents. I don't know if he had parents or not, but you ain't had nowhere to go. You ain't got no homeboys you can sleep. You ain't got nobody. But because Almanita had a good heart, a genuinely good heart, she felt bad and she agreed to let him stay. But there were conditions. His ass had to move into the guest bedroom, because, baby, you ain't about to be laid up in my bed. Not handling shit. I ain't mad at her. And she said he could stay until he got his life together, which was like AKA about a month. I think that was plenty enough time. She better than me, because, sir, you would have had to get up out of here. Not now, but right fucking now. Go, goodbye. I don't give a damn. He would have to go expeditiously, immediately, post haste, because hold on, like, I'm still stuck on you lied about your job and you lied about your situation. You got a whole wife? I could even kind of get past that, because y'all could be separated, but the part I can't get past is y'all so-called separated while you got a baby on the way. I just need to know, where is your wife at and why are you here? But let's get back to this crime scene, right? Because when the cadaver dogs, they get inside that house, they start doing what cadaver dogs do. And baby, that dog was leading to take us all over that house, upstairs, downstairs, and eventually to a dryer. And inside that dryer, now mind you, there was a blanket. It had been washed and dried. And they said the blanket smelled strongly of decomposition. Ugh. Oh gosh. I don't even have another word for it. Like, I don't know, like, that just, I almost threw up in my mouth. How bad does that smell have to be if you've washed it? He must not have used the sanitation stuff and the Lysol sanitation when he washed, and he must have used some cheap. So I don't know. Well, you probably can't get that out. I don't know. You should at least, so many things could have been done. I'm just saying it wouldn't have been in my dryer. Investigators believe the smell inside that house was so bad because Almanita had actually been dead inside the home 4 days. Not hours, but days. And they believe that Marcus dragged her body through the house before eventually putting her out on the lawn early that morning. Now, while detectives are looking around, they also go into the garage. In the garage, they find bags of clothes just lined up, like the paper grocery bags you couldn't get in the trash bags. Just a dumbass. And investigators thought it looked like somebody was preparing to leave, and probably in Almanita's car. Because remember, Mr. Hard Times, Mr. Fake Job, Mr. Guest Bedroom, he ain't had no car. So now y'all packing bags. Okay, interesting. And y'all, when they search inside this vehicle, they find Almanita's ID, her credit cards, And at this point, you know what? The police is like, we got enough. We smelled enough. We done seen enough. We not about to waste no time. They went on right on down to that hospital and arrested his ass out. The hospital gown and all. Let's go. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Now, while all this is going on, investigators, they keep talking to people. And the more people they talk to, the worse it got. Because like I said, they found out that the last day anybody had seen Almanita alive, like we said, was August 16, 2012. And on that day, they had company over. And I, whenever people come around, folks be paying attention to this little stuff. And apparently during this visit, Marcus and Almanita got into an argument. And y'all want to know what the argument was about? It was because this lazy ass Negro couldn't even be bothered to cut the grass. The grass. Sir, you living in her house rent free. You running up her utilities, eating up her food, her groceries, sleeping under her roof. And the least you could do is cut this lady's grass. Because what exactly are you contributing? Like, what, you came to the table with a hard dick and some bubble gum? I'm tired of it. Because where I'm sitting, you ain't contributing to shit. You just taking up space and oxygen, just worthless. And according to investigators, that, like I said, that was the last day anybody had seen or heard from her. Now look, Marcus done got himself charged with murder. And while all this is going on, the police are building their case. And the prosecution is trying to make sure they got their ducks in a row. And Almanita's family is trying to bury their baby. And that makes me so sad. Because on September 1st, 2012, Almanita was laid to rest at Lewis Memorial Baptist Church. And while her family is planning a funeral, picking out flowers, trying to figure out how they're supposed to live without her, the Columbia Police Department is over there working overtime, trying to make sure they can bury Marcus's raggedy ass in court. Good. Now, baby, the more they started looking into Marcus, the worse it got. Every time they put up another record, talked to another person, looked at another piece of surveillance, the detectives had to be sitting there like, I know you fucking lying. Because let's go back to August 19th. Remember that date? That's his birthday. Now, hold on. Let's put this together because, like we said, they believe Almanita died August 16th. August 19th is 3 days later. Ask how this nigga popped up. Ask what Marcus was doing, but he said his girl wasn't missing. You would think, they said his girl was missing. He'd maybe be searching or worried, passing out flyers. Nah, y'all, this nigga was at the club for his birthday, celebrating, having a grand old time. I don't know about y'all, but if people telling me my girl is missing, I don't think bottle service is really going to be my vibe, but apparently this nigga had a whole lot to celebrate. He just killed a woman, so I guess he's celebrating? I don't know. And then after the club, how about this fool takes friends?
Could AI help you do more of what you love? Workday is the AI platform for HR and finance that actually knows your business. We help you handle the have to do's so you can focus on the can't wait to do's. It's a new Workday.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Out to breakfast. Sir, where was these friends when you needed a place to stay? Huh? Are these the same friends that said you couldn't stay on their couch? And I didn't know exactly what we're celebrating because from where I'm sitting, the optics look terrible. And like I said, the detectives, you want to know how they found out he was at the club, right? Okay, let me tell you how they found he was at the club. So they found he was at the club because they were looking at Almanita's credit card records. And her credit cards had been used as in plural. Now remember, they believe she died on August 16th. So when they start pulling the credit card records and they see that, August 19th, her car was charged. And it was at this club. Let me go pull surveillance. And who do we see on the surveillance? It's Marcus turned up in the section with some bitches. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they start pulling more. They see more charges. So they're pulling surveillance from these stores. Y'all know what else this nigga was out there doing? Having a grand old time on a shopping spree on this lady's dime. This dead lady's dime. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no car. You living in somebody's house. You've murdered a woman, you left her body in her house, and you have the fucking audacity to take her card and be out on a fucking living it up spree? This ain't the good life? The fuck? Did he think he... But let me tell y'all, we're not done, because when you think it couldn't get worse, y'all, it does. This part really, really turned my stomach. So police, they're tracking down people that he was with, because, they need to get all these answers. Y'all, why they say this man brought a bitch back to the house? The same house they believe Almanita had been dead inside for days. And Marcus is getting his rocks off, fucking this lady on Almanita's couch while her body is decomposing upstairs. And the lady said she thought it was weird because when Marcus brought her home, he said they had to stay downstairs on the couch. But she's like, well, why can't we go upstairs? Because, can we get in the bed? Like, all right, now, if I'm going to stay here, can I get in the bed? Marcus is like, we got to stay down here on the couch. Can't go up there. I can't even sleep in the bed. I got to sleep on your couch. I know it's a booty call, but damn. So why I can't go upstairs? Because he knew it was a dead body up there. And I'm sure if the smell hadn't come downstairs yet from the decomposition, probably would have hit her in the face when she went upstairs. Right. Now, see, generally, I'm nosy. But I ain't that nosy, because if you tell me don't go in certain places in your house, I don't watch horror movies because they scare me. But I know not to go looking for shit, especially if I don't know you. Now, like I said, the police believe that she had been dead inside that house for days. And not only did he have a woman in her house, he over here joyriding bitches around in her car too. You just can't make this up, because the level of disrespect is astronomical. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I got all types of questions and or concerns, because you have a dead woman decomposing upstairs, and somehow your focus is clubbing, breakfast, shopping, and fucking random women. You couldn't handle a strong woman. A woman that had her own house, a career, her own future, a woman who was literally doing better than you. So, like I said, the prosecution got all of this. But look, they was just getting warmed up. They was ready for trial, ready. So Marcus ends up going to trial July 23rd, 2013. And the prosecution came out swinging. They had receipts and screenshots. They had witnesses and a PowerPoint presentation. They were not playing with him. Their argument, Marcus killed Almanita on August 16th, 2012. And according to the prosecution, he left her body there to rot for days, which we know, before eventually dragging her body outside and leaving it on her lawn. The disrespect is insane. And prosecutors believe he did that because he knew Almanita's parents were coming, and he knew sooner or later somebody was going to start asking questions he couldn't answer. But they weren't done yet. They had one of the very first people they had to testify was a medical examiner, and her testimony was so heartbreaking. She testified that Almanita's body had been so badly decomposed that they couldn't immediately determine an exact cause of death. That woman had been left there for so long that decomposition had done that much damage, and it's South Carolina in August. But one thing they said they could not rule out, they couldn't rule out strangulation. Then remember Mr. Ethan Kinney, the paramedic, he testified for the prosecution. He said that while, that's the paramedic Marcus was talking to, while his stories was already starting not to make a lick goddamn sense. But what came next was what I would call that everybody starts telling on Marcus' portion of the trial. Because one of Marcus's own friends, again, where was said friend when you supposedly ain't had nowhere to go? And her name was left out of the court documents, but she did testify that Marcus had complained about Almanita. He said she was controlling. Why? Because she wanted you to pick up around the house. I'm sure she probably wanted you to do some man shit around the house because, you're there. That's the least you could do. And according to said friend, Marcus said he had visions of taking Almanita's life, including suffocation. Now hold up, because that's already bad enough, but we're not done, and let this be a lesson. Folks got to stop running their mouths in jail, because they also had one of Marcus's cellmates, and he was only identified in court documents as Walker. He also testified. And according to Walker, Marcus told him that he killed Almanita. He strangled her. Now, before y'all start hollering, well, he was a jailhouse informant. Trust me, the defense tried it. Because Walker himself was on the murder. He was facing murder charges too, attempted murder and armed robbery, trifecta. But Walker told the jury that he fully intended to plead guilty to the murder charge in his own case. Basically saying, look, I ain't got nothing to gain from lying. But y'all know how it is. Misery loves company, so he like, shit, if I'm going down, I mean, may as well take somebody with me so I got somebody to kick it with for the rest of my life in jail. Now, whether y'all believe Walker or not, the jury heard him, and that was all that mattered. And then they had Marcus's former Army captain, Captain Parker, testified. And Captain Parker told the jury that Marcus had experienced significant mental health issues following his return from Iraq. I don't dispute that. I know it has happened to people. I can personally attest to that. He testified that Marcus was a threat to himself and others. And he confirmed that Marcus had been discharged from the military in January of 2012. And that right there pretty much, I mean... what can the defense get up there and say? They really didn't have much. They tried leaning into his mental health issues. They tried leaning into the fact that he was an Iraqi war veteran. But the prosecution has spent days stacking evidence on top of evidence on top of evidence. And apparently the jury wasn't bound what the defense was selling. So on August 1st, 2013, the case went to the jury. There were 5 men and 7 women. And when I tell y'all they was not playing around, they deliberated for about 3 hours. And they came back with a verdict, guilty. And at sentencing, Marcus Bailey was sentenced to 50 years in prison. And now, to me, that's not enough. I feel like because there might be parole in there somewhere at the time when they sentenced him. But y'all know Marcus wasn't about to go sit down somewhere and accept that. Absolutely not. Why? Because he's a narcissist, if you can't tell. So in 2015, he filed an appeal. And baby, when I tell y'all, he was reaching. According to Marcus, there wasn't any blood or any other organic material found inside the house to support the prosecution's theory that Almanita's body had been there. He also argued that the cadaver dog alerting on the blanket found in the dryer was inaccurate because the blanket had been washed and dried. Okay, well, we also said that the cadaver dog touched on the upstairs and the downstairs. That's what cadaver dogs do. That's their job. They are trained literally to find decomposing bodies or decomposing matter, the sniff. That's what they do. Anyway, then he argued the judge should have directed a verdict in his favor. The judge is supposed to be impartial, sir. And he challenged the testimony from the inmate witness because the inmate's pending criminal charges. In other words, Marcus threw everything at the wall, hoping something would stick. Nothing stuck.
It's not happening. Deny it.
Of course, they want to hear none of that. His conviction was affirmed. His sentence stayed exactly where it was. And as of today, Marcus Bailey is currently housed at the Lee Correctional Facility in South Carolina. And his projected release date, February 3rd, 2063. He probably gonna die in there. That's fine. Now, I want to know what y'all think of this case because another one just made me mad from beginning to end. The audacity, I'm sorry. I just don't like these men. I don't understand. I mean, there really ain't nothing like about him. You're a bum. He was a bum. He was a piece of shit. He was a turtle face, limping at like ashy knee, knock knee. Okay. But drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Do y'all think Marcus was always a fraud? Do y'all think Almanita realized just how much he had lied before she tried putting him out? And what part of this case shocked y'all the most? And as always, make sure you're following me on all social media platforms. And if you're enjoying today's episode, please leave your girl a 5-star review. It really, really helps the podcast grow. It helps new cousin find us. Please don't be stingy with me. Share your podcast with a friend, a coworker, your homegirl, somebody, because word of mouth is still one of the best ways to support the show. And y'all, I missed the vibe check again this week. I told y'all life has been crazy. I am days away from my glue launch, and I'm just running around like a chick with my head cut off, trying to be somebody's mama, being a softball mama, paying attention to these kids while they on break. And mom, look at this. When's lunch? Can we go outside? Can we go to the pool? I just got, yes, your girl got a lot going on, but I'm going to try to do better next week. So until then, remember, hearts break, but alibis don't. Love y'all. Talk to y'all later.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
A burst pipe, a dead water heater, the AC calling it quits. Who do you call? HomeServe is an easy way to handle unexpected home repairs with plans covering stuff basic homeowners insurance usually won't. Instead of scrambling for a contractor, you make one call to get the repair process started. Join the millions of customers who trust HomeServe right now. Go to homeserve.com/podcast for 50% less your first year. That's homeserve.com/podcast. Savings compared to renewal price. Void in Florida.